Hi guys, I'm Sandy, and for some months now I have been talking to you about the Great Resignation or the Big Quit. Can you believe it's been over 8 months? Most people thought this would last a couple of months and die down, but it hasn't. If anything, it is picking up pace with the new year. So I figured it was time to help you do a little bit of soul searching. If you're one of the many millions who are considering joining the Great Resignation and quitting your job, I think it's time you ask yourself 10 very important questions. Before you quit your job, you need to know why you're doing it and what you're doing it for. Now, for those of you who have never heard of the Great Resignation or would like to know more than you do, I strongly advise that you watch the previous videos from the series. I'm listing the playlists below so you can check them out after watching this video. Essentially, the Great Resignation is a trend that started in April 2021 that saw millions of workers worldwide quitting their jobs. In the US alone, over 38 million workers quit their jobs in 2021. And there are several reasons for that. Some needing time off or retiring early, others deciding that they would stay home and take care of the kids. Some traded up to better paid, high-ranked positions, others figured it was time to become their own bosses. Essentially, people are doing what they can to make the most out of the hot job market to create a better work-life balance for themselves and improve their lives. And as this big quit continues and more vacancies remain unfilled, the work that needs to be done is all being dumped on the burned out remainers, the working dead as we call them. So odds are that as it all becomes too much and they get more and more exhausted by the unfair working demand, some of these remainers will to jump ship and look for something better, meaning this trend is here to stay. Particularly if we consider that most people don't quit before the end of the year because they want their yearly bonuses and because they want to enjoy the Christmas holidays peacefully. However, with the new year comes the change, the new beginnings, the fresh start. Tell me, are you one of the many who are considering joining them? Have you thought about why you want to do it? Is it because everyone else is doing it? Is it because you've had a taste of what a flexible working arrangement feels like and you just don't want to go back? Is it because, we've gone through so much change in this past year that you've realized that you can handle change and that it isn't that scary? Is it a real need for change or just a reaction from exhaustion or burnout? Please leave me a comment below letting me know all your reasons. I would love to hear from you. Or maybe you don't know yet. You haven't decided. You are on the fence and don't really know what to do. Well, these 10 questions I have for you will go a long way in helping you with that. So let's just get to it, shall we? So the first and most important question you should ask yourself is it me? Throughout these past few months, we've been hearing all kinds of horror stories about bosses and companies and outrageous demands that make people jump ship and never look back. So it's kind of the first thing we think of when you think about quitting, but this may not always be the case. And if you don't get to the bottom of this, odds are you will quit, find yourself a new job, and end up feeling as hopeless and as unsatisfied as you were in your previous job. Because the issue wasn't with that job, it was with you. What if by trading jobs, you're just running away from your problem? You'll still be the same person, with the same life, with the same issues you have with yourself, with your negativity, with your self-esteem. It'll all still be there. So if you feel this is an issue for you, I advise that you try to work on that first, on stopping that self-criticism, on that nasty voice that keeps pointing out what's bad and drowning out what's good with you and your life. Work on your mindset and set yourself free from that negative, vicious cycle before you consider moving on. Now, the second question you should definitely ask yourself is, why do I really want to quit? Let me give you an example here. I have quit more jobs than anyone I know. And yes, as it turns out, I'm happier being my own boss and doing my own thing. But I will also have to admit that I have had some really terrific jobs that quite honestly never stood a chance. Because as soon as I hit that 6-month mark, that stage where the learning curve starts to flatten and the initial excitement is gone and all there's left to do is to acclimate to the environment, to settle down, I would start to get restless and eventually I would quit. Today, I know that was all about discomfort. I would feel uncomfortable and nervous about my performance, about people's expectations of me, and I would start to nitpick. And if this is the case for you, my advice is stay on a bit longer. Don't quit because you're afraid of failure. Ask for help, get further training, look for ways to improve. And if once you get there, you still feel like quitting, then do it, but for the right reasons. Now, another question to ask to make sure you are quitting for the right reasons is, are my expectations realistic? For our parents and the generation before them, a job was something that paid the bills and allowed them to live comfortably. For us, it needs to be so much more than that. There is a saying which I live by that says something like, if you do what you love, you won't have to work a day in your life. And it's true, and it's definitely a goal to live by. But you also need to know that there are no perfect jobs. No job is awesome and fulfilling all the time. I love what I do, but there are some days when I can't stand the sight of a laptop or a camera for that matter. There are definitely some parts of my job that I'm not really a fan of, and that's okay. What I'm saying is, if you're quitting because your job isn't perfect all the time, if you don't feel motivated and excited to go to work every single day, then you may regret it, because I don't think you will find a job that does that for you. Now, for another question I would love you to ask yourself, which is, am I enjoying this video? And if your answer is yes, you know what to do. Tap that like button to let me and YouTube know. Also, I would love it if you would stop by my channel and check out my other videos. And if you like what you see, subscribe. I publish fresh content twice a week, plus my inspirational shorts. Okay, next question to ask is, how long have I been feeling this way? Think of the last time you felt happy about your job and try to understand what changed. In fact, you should take a trip down memory lane and look at your entire path from the moment you decided to take your job to now. Maybe you've been unhappy for a while now, and this resignation has been a long time coming. Or maybe it started with the pandemic and how it uprooted people's lives and left you feeling out of control. If it's a matter of regaining control of your destiny, odds are that changing jobs won't get you there. Quite the opposite, because you will be starting something new in an unfamiliar environment. So get to the bottom of it before you make that decision, okay? In fact, how hard it is to quit a job and start a new one is something that's often overlooked in this Great Resignation euphoria. But it's actually really hard and scary. You never know if you've made the right decision until you're actually started the new job and you've met your new co-workers. So another question you should ask yourself is, should I consider staying? Have I explored every option to work with what I've got? Now, I am not telling you you should stay. I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. Yes, the job market is hot, and there's never been a better time to quit your job. But because the job market is hot, there has never been a better time to negotiate new terms and stay either. You see where I'm going with this? If there are a lot of things you like about your job, maybe you can make your situation more comfortable and stay on. Flexible working arrangements, better pay, better benefits, a new position. You need to make a list of what you would like and what would make you happier in your current job and try to get what you want. Often, people don't even think about that possibility because they've been so long at their current job, they assume it's as good as it gets, when in fact, it's not. So think about that, okay? Now, another often overlooked question you should definitely ask yourself is, do I have a plan? Closely followed by, can I afford to leave? I have been known to quit impulsively on occasion. Well, on a lot of occasions. But I could afford it. I was young, I had a great support system and a roof over my head. Quitting impulsively without a plan or savings when you have bills to pay is the surest way to make you have to find a job you don't want out of need. And that rarely goes well. Experts advise you to have at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved before quitting. Make that 12 months if you're changing careers or starting your own business. Because these things take time, and the last thing you need is that added stress of unpaid bills. And it's not just about the salary either. You need to consider benefits like healthcare and pensions. So cross your T's and dot your I's before resigning, okay? It will make a world of difference in how the next stage of your life will go. Okay, next question. What will I be giving up by quitting? Quitting a job, well, change actually, often means compromising, losing some things to gain others. So what does that look for you? The benefits, the coworkers who became friends, the comfortable routine. Make a list of what you're prepared to give up to make this move. And then, of course, this question must be followed by, what will I gain by quitting? It's easy to think of the negative reasons why we're quitting while neglecting the positives. Will you earn more money? Will you go up the corporate ladder? Will you get more free time, more flexibility? Make sure to make that list and see if the gains outweigh the losses. But I guess that in order to do this, you will need to know what you're doing next, right? And often we don't. I didn't for most of the jobs I quit, and that was definitely a mistake. Yes, it's important to know what you don't want, but it is equally important, if not more, to know what you do want. What do you want to do? What are you looking for? If it still sounds abstract, try to imagine what your perfect workday would look like and go from there. It all comes down to how you want to live life, and yes, the answer to that question is as important as it sounds. Now, as for the timing, your next question should be, is now the right time? Should I wait until we're back at the office to resign? On one hand, you have the hot job market right now. Companies are struggling to find workers and are more willing to negotiate than ever. On the other, and again, if there are a lot of positives of your current job, waiting it out to see how your company adapts to the new realities, to workers' demands, and the need for more flexibility may be a good idea. Also, if you don't feel you're financially ready or that you need to hone in on some of your skills before finding the best job for you, now that you are working from home may be the perfect time to make those plans and work towards them. Build a foundation for your success to make sure your next step is an awesome one. Now, I know I have given you a lot to think about, but I do hope that these questions will clear your mind and make that important decision clearer for you. And remember, no matter what others are doing, there is no right or wrong answers. The right thing for you to do is what's best for you and you alone, what benefits you, what brings you happiness and fulfillment. And this is all about you, not other people's opinions of what's best. Last but not least, watch the other videos for the Great Resignation series and know all about this exciting revolutionary trend that is taking the world by storm. That is it for me today, and I will see you over there. Bye bye.